I'm walking you through what this work looks like on me. So, whichever phase of business you're in, so if you're just now starting, or if you have been in it for a while and you're experimenting, or if you've been in it for a long while, but you're like, I don't know how much longer I can do this. At every stage of the game, this work has something to offer you in some capacity. And what I keep seeing is if you have no idea what your human design is, boom, let's start there. It's just waiting there, just waiting for you. And if you have some idea of what your human design is, let's pull that into your body and your experience and into your business and see what's there for you. If you're pretty good with what your human design is, let's make sure we know what your gene keys are. And then if all that is in place, let's talk about what your business is wanting from you and what's working, what's not working, and keeping all that stuff in mind as you build. Somebody mentioned earlier, I did a post where I said, I'm like a business doula because one of my clients is a doula. And I was like, that's kind of what I am. But I'm not going to birth your business for you. I wouldn't want to take that from you, but I'm absolutely here to make it lighter, quicker, more of you than you knew it could be. Some people are venturing over to my page and seeing that I do websites too. And honestly, that's not like I do that for everybody. It's like a very precise sort of invitation only. I'm taking applications, but it's kind of reminds me of I do flowers also. And I decided I got to the same point with websites and weddings where it's like, I'm not going to take in every single person that wants flowers for their wedding, but sometimes it's a good fit. And so I have that open. Same with the website link. Sometimes it's a good fit. What I really love to do though is work with you on how and what your business wants to unfold from you. And all that is just waiting for you in your chart. I wanted to walk you through with myself at this point in my game and my business, what that work looks like. And I have a couple of new offers that I'm doing and they're really fun. There's something in the bathroom. Okay, one of my new sessions is an hour long and it is we're finding your block. And so I've been having really wonderful results with this session. Usually it's going to come after you already kind of know some human design because really that's number one on the list is let's talk about your human design. If you are in that phase of business where you're totally new, or you're in that phase of human design where you really don't know that much about it, your clear next step is the session that you want. So you can DM me step and I'll give you all the details for that. It's a great place to start. But then after that, when you kind of get in the hang of all this and you kind of have your chart in hand, you kind of been playing around with it and you're like, there's still something there though. What is it? You want to navigate your way to this block session with me. If that's you can DM me block. If you're like, I don't really have the funds for that right now, or I don't really trust you, you seem like you're kind of strange and you're trying to take something from me. Just kidding. You can look it up yourself, but it's absolutely helpful to have somebody. Basically, all of your coaches have coaches. It's really helpful to have someone else's eyes on what it is you're looking at here, and especially somebody with experience and with those strengths that they're diving into themselves. So for me, my main strength is my Gene Key 17 is in my conscious sun placement. And so that's like, I'm going to see the pattern. My brain wants to do it anyways. We might as well put your business in front of my brain and see what it can spot. But if you're wanting to do this on your own, no big deal. You can go to your non-conscious Mars. And so for me, my non-conscious Mars is Gene Key 11. And so what the shadow is there. So if you're not familiar with Gene Keys, you're looking at the shadow, which leads you to the gift, which leads you to the city. And so we already know these things about life. Like life is a journey. Life is not about the destination. It's about the path and the way there. And so that's what this ties into is all of our stories kind of have these certain components in place, but then we play them out in real life and see what it actually ends up looking like. And so that's what the path is. And sometimes with Gene Keys, people haven't lived enough life to see the shadow and the gift, but sometimes they have. And as soon as they see it and hear it, they're like, I know exactly what that means. So I'm going to be honest, for me, I've had that absolutely, but that was in my Pearl sequence. And that's where I got absolutely hooked on Gene Keys. And I'm like, everybody needs to know this. But in this placement, for me personally, it wasn't blast off. It was like, okay, this is my non-conscious Mercury is my block right now. Okay. So the shadow is obscurity. And the gift is idealism, and the city, which is Siddhi, Sanskrit, is light. So when that hit me, I'm like, okay, that doesn't really, I don't know. And then on top of that, some of these gene keys, not all of them, like I said, all of the ones that I experienced in my pearl sequence were like, boom, I know exactly what that is. And I know exactly what I'm doing with that. And I know exactly where I'm going with it. But sometimes you get a gene key like this one. I worked with this with a client too. Hers was, the shadow was, oh shoot, I can't remember. The gift was discernment and the shadow was discord. And so when those hit you, it's kind of, I don't know. It just takes some more chewing on it, honestly. And that's still just as much fun. So same thing here, like chewing on this and diving down deeper and reading the Gene Keys book, see what information is there. What information do we have? And then just being like, okay. And then you sit on it and you stew and you let some time pass. And then you start to have a better idea of what this all is because it starts to unfold in front of you. And there's a lot tying in here, so I'm ready to tell you. We were already coming off of the new moon, which is the gate of fulfillment. And we talked about that in the group. Basically, like, how can you be more true to yourself? How can you be more true to your self-expression, your inner voice, and see where you're holding back? So we're already coming out of that some. And then honestly, it's been a roller coaster ride for me and my personal and probably my emotions is what you'd say. But I'm noticing like it doesn't feel like ups and downs. It feels like being pulled back in a slingshot to be released into what's the next level. And so meanwhile, in the background, I'm like still chewing on obscurity, idealism, Gene Key 11 as my block. And when you dive into that information, you can see that like dreaming has a huge component of this. And so it's not, and some of us know that. Pardon me, some of us know it intuitively, and some of us, I think with our dreams, we get hung up on, and this was me, definitely, or from time to time it can be, like hung up on what the story in the dream is, and that's really not the purpose of the dream, right? That part feels like the entertainment where your head's, ooh, let's make this fun because we don't have anything to do for 8 hours. But with this Gene Key 11 placement, I am very much paying attention to the importance of my dreams now. That's inside of this gene key is your dreams are trying to tell you things. And I can see where that's the case for all of us. But with this one in particular, that's the piece, one of the components to really dive into and pull from it. And all that to say, I've known that and I've been sensing that. And last night, the dream is always, I feel like it's probably, I don't know, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's always sometime in before I'm going to wake up. And this one, I kind of remember it. It's honestly super vague. But what I remember and what I pulled from it, it was like the whole story and the whole shebang. And then at the end, I was like, jealousy. I just knew in my sleep, but I knew that's what I'm supposed to pull from this. And when I'm telling you this is the work, I'm diving into my own gene keys. I am playing with them in my own world. I am finding them and the significance in my own story and in my own life. And these things never stop. They're like this continuous cycle. So that's why I think it's good to just go ahead and relax into it and be like, this is fun. I love this work because it's kind of nonstop, but it is fun. And I do love this work. And so anyways, coming back to that idea of, okay, I was here because I'm curious what the block is for me. And the block is obscurity. And there's so much there to dive into in and of itself. But on top of that, it's telling me to pay attention to my dreams. I'm paying attention to my dreams and jealousy comes up. And this is, again, right as we're coming off of that new moon, the gate of fulfillment. And so I feel like jealousy is a way of you telling yourself what it is you actually want. But even despite that, what I do from here is tapping on jealousy, tapping on moving forward, EFT tapping on getting out of my own way and allowing and receiving the miracles. Because it's funny to think that there's probably miracles around every corner, but we're like getting in our own way and stopping those. Especially, I'm a generator, and I just had a conversation with manifesting generator, telling them the same thing, that so many times we are getting in our own way with this stuff. But so I'm gonna jump off of here. My kids, he's playing. They don't play very many video games, but when mom wants to go live and I'm ready and my sick girl's saying yes, sure, you can get on video games for a second. The idealism, the gift here for me is more daydreaming. And I definitely am not setting aside time for that. And my husband's a projector. He's a 2/6 projector. And I think he has a lot of influence on me as far as, yes, idealism is my gift here. But I think he is very realistic. And whenever I start floating up, he's kind of yanks me back down. Not in a mean way, just in a realistic way. And so also seeing the gift here is really beautiful to have that direction pointed I'm pointing towards, that I get to have idealism, and that's a component that's going to be extremely helpful for me, and I'm going to make time for that in my business and in my life and my manifestations, or what it is that I am actively working to create in my world. On top of that, and I thought this was cool, I hope everyone's following along, and this isn't going to page 52. To me, this is so exciting, and this is the work that I get to do with people. And so that is the part that I can't get over. It's just so much fun. Let me say this, and then I'm going to tell you what gate we're coming up on in the transits. But I just opened up this new, it's like a membership. It's VIP and it's monthly. And so basically it's 2 calls with me and then voice note support. So it's VIP because you have your access to me whenever you need it. Like I said, I'm a business doula. So wherever it is that you're at, if you're creating the ideas, I love that part. If you're getting into strategy, I love that part. If we're getting into structure, absolutely, I'm there for that. If we're diving into gene keys, if we're doing this whole slurry together at once, this membership is perfect because as your day in and day out, as we're moving through these transits, as these huge ideas are like working their way through your field and your system, you have support from me as you go. And we're going to dive into this conversation consistently. And then all that culminates into a call where we get to have it all float to the surface and then start all over again. Kind of like having KDD in your pocket. And I'm really excited about it. I think it's really cool. So all that to say, this is the kinds of stuff that we explore in that membership, one-on-one, high touch, and even your messaging or your posts or your offer. If you're going to hit post in your Facebook group or whatever on your Instagram, you can get my eyes on it before you hit post, so you have someone to bounce ideas off of. Especially if you're a triple split, that can be like, or if your ajna is undefined and you're like having a hard time being certain. Lots of different reasons to jump into it, but really wonderful opportunity. And like I said, this is the kind of work that you're doing. This is the work I'm doing on myself and everyone around me who will take a minute to care about what it is. But it's really deep exploration in a way that's super safe and neutral, but also deep and insightful. So all that to say, today is May 20th, and we're moving into gate 20, which is gate of patience. And I don't resonate just a whole bunch with just the gate in and of itself. What I resonate with is, I'm like, is there any way I can show this to you? Let me see. So this is gate 20. And so tomorrow it's going to be defined, which is going to define this whole channel for me. So I'm already defined from 34 to 57, and now I'm going to have this included in my energy. If that made any sense to you, go grab your chart and see if it's the same for you. If it made no sense to you, no big deal. Just holler at me and we'll figure it out for you. So that means I'm going to have 2 channels defined that I don't right now, 5720 and 3420. And what I'm looking at there, and I think that's what I'm already feeling, is pure life force moving right now. So if you remember, I was being slung, I felt like I was in a slingshot because I was in that sacred fog. I felt it probably last weekend. I'm trying to think. When was the new moon? The 16th? Yeah, that sounds about right. Where it was like, I knew the new moon was important and I knew it was great for manifestation. And I was like trying to keep my head above water. But honestly, it's probably this gate, the shadow of obscurity, among a few other things, that kind of pulls you down and makes you feel like. And I've been telling everybody at that moment in time to relax relax into this. It's not more doing. I just made a post today about, I've got 2 coming up. I did one about my son building his tent and me telling him to make sure you're not building in frustration and being like, it's the same in your business. And then the same thing came up today. I do flower crowns and flower bouquets and arrangements. And I have this post coming up, but I was telling somebody that I was doing flower arrangement workshops and they were like, oh, I wish I could do that, but blah, 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 blah. And I realized it's the same thing again, where every single time I'm in this workshop, facilitating this workshop, when people are having a hard time with flower arrangement, they're stuck in their heads. They're not in their bodies. They're not feeling, if they're sacral, they're not feeling that sacral gush. They're like, I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. And that's the moment, to take a break. Honestly, I teach yoga too, and I did a flower arrangement class after a yoga class. So we had this cool sequence where I think we were turning into flowers or something fun in our yoga class. And then we went straight into, that's how it was supposed to be, is the double. We went straight into the flower workshop. And it was the first time I'd ever really seen people really not in their heads. I really didn't even have to say, get out of your head. Huge component there is move your body. But as a generator or manifesting generator, yes, move your body. Be creative, do something that brings you joy. So for me, flowers, henna, music, being with my boys, being goofy and silly, anything that gets you out of that frustration. So then you can let that life force energy flood through. The blockage is removed and it flows again. So all that to say, I've been doing this work. I've been telling all y'all, relax into it. I know your brain wants you to have a strategy and go in a direction and have it all figured out, but relax into it and just chill. Just chill and do something fun. And sure enough, in this transit tomorrow, I have these channels that are defined now. And if I hadn't relaxed, if I was still in my head, I would not be in this flow state that I'm in now. So instead, I've got this embodied power because I already did that work to relax. And this is the gift that is arriving for me now because I was relaxing whenever I felt the fog bubble up. And so I'll tell you right now, like you already heard me say, I have 2 new offers, but I'm like diving into things that I had the idea and I wanted to do it, but then it was just like not really the right time and all these things. And now I'm like, you guys are going to be seeing a lot of movement for me in here, and you're going to be seeing a lot of awesome stuff, opportunities that are going to be bubbling up because this energy is being harnessed for me right now because I relaxed into what was trying to feel agitated. And now I've had that breakthrough. And like I said, it's that work again and again, but this is my moment for this season. So I'm excited and I'm definitely harnessing it and it feels amazing. Woo, and that's exactly what we're talking about. That's what your business is medicine means. And just going back real quick to that VIP membership, it's like, that's what we're working through and working with. And that's what the work looks like. And that's how you get a business that you love, that feels amazing, that you can't get enough of, that you can't post enough from. That's what the work is. And so I think I'll let that go there. I think that's the entirety of what I wanted to address today, but that's me showing you this is the stuff I'm doing myself in real time. That's what it looks like. Those are the kinds of paths we go down. You never know what's going to be there for you. And then we're going to tap through it and heal it. And then we get to see what we uncovered. And it's very much not in the head. But when we are in the head, it can give us those signals of what it is that we're trying to work through. So it's all such a beautiful journey. And again, such an honor for me to just be there side by side to support and to watch and witness. So thank you to everyone who is taking that leap with me. And just reminding you that your business is medicine when you let it be.